Today, let's talk about the requirement of ISO 9001 standard quality management system, and let's realign it to ISO 9001 quality management system operations, that is clause 8, and which is one of the clauses that has many sub-clauses. This particular clause is very unique in its requirement because it has to do with everything that is required to meet up with customers' expectations. Remember, quality management system is all about customer satisfaction, meeting up with customer requirements for your product and services or design and development, whatever you deliver to an end user. Your end user can be another organization. Your end user can be the public for public use, that is, for example, the food, the toiletries, what we use, the televisions, our gadgets, our home accessories, what individual use. It can also be a design and development service that you deliver, like architectural designs or designs of machineries, whatever you deliver to an end user, and meeting up with the requirement of this end user, what the specification is all about, how to get about conformities, even legal requirements. So it also helps you to address legal requirements, conformities. We'll be looking at what are these subclauses. It's going to be a very lengthy one at least, but let us see how well we can learn together. And if you have anything to add in the comment section, it will be highly welcome. Let's go. Firstly, let us know that ISO 9001 is an international standard that specifies requirements for quality management system. That is well established. Now, let's look at this particular clause, operations. This clause that is titled operations addresses the entire production process from understanding and communicating customer requirements to the final release of the product and service. It emphasizes the significance of meeting customers' expectations, customer requirements, and adapting to changes that could occur as a result of customers' requirements and ensuring that quality delivery is being achieved for your product and services. So now let's go to the subclauses. As we said, there are a lot of things to learn in this particular subclauses, even for individuals too, but let us streamline it to organizational processes and requirements to meet up with the expectations of their end users, which are their customers, as the case may be. Clause 8.1 talks about operational planning and control, which we also see in 14001 and 45001, even though their specific requirements might be different, but 8.1 for these three major clauses are always the same clauses. 14001 operational planning and control, and 4001 operational planning and control. But what does this operational planning and control for quality management system talks about? This particular subclause requires organizations to plan, implement, and control the processes to meet with customers' requirement for product and services and to enhance customer satisfaction. Like I said, that is the end goal at the end of the day for quality management system. It emphasizes the importance of defining criteria for operations and ensuring that they are carried out effectively. Because for any product and services, for every product, there's always an operational process involved to meet up with that requirement. Let's say, for example, the equipment designs, the competency of the person doing the job, everything, the specification, the chemicals that are being used, every process that is involved in making a particular product or delivering a particular service, there must be continuous planning and evaluation to ensure that they are well in place to meet up with the customers or with the end product in mind. 8.2 talks about requirement for product and services. This particular subclause details the requirement for determining and reviewing product and services requirements, including customers' requirement, statutory and regulatory requirement, like I said at the beginning of this video, and any other additional requirement that is determined by this organization. It addresses issue of communication requirement. How do you need to communicate consistently when there is an order for your product? For example, you need to communicate with the customer or the client on their specifications, and there need to be continuous flow of communication to ensure that at the end of the day, what you are going to bring out of your product or service is what has been required of you. Apart from communicating the requirement, it also addresses determining the requirement itself and reviewing the requirement and also any changes that comes with the requirement. There can be changes, especially when it comes to design. And that is why 8.3 talks about design and development of product and services. And this particular subclause outlines the specific requirement for organizations that designs and develop product or services. It includes planning, input requirement, how to control the requirement to ensure that when there are design changes, review of these changes and the design and development process. This is a very important subclause that addresses what we term as design and development, and it's not for every organization because it's not every organization that has designs as part of their process. For those that involve designs specifically, this particular subclause will help them in understanding how to go about the design and development, especially the requirement and meeting up with the requirement of any design that has been given to them to do. For example, architectural design. Design can come with any in any form. For example, some organizations are into equipment designs. If they have an order that they should help an organization to design a particular equipment, or even let's look at fire hydrant system, there's a design that is required of them. This is even very common when it comes to construction industries. There is a design of the construction, and at the end of the day, if there are need for changes, there is need for proper communication to be sure that what they have at the end of the day has been agreed upon by both parties. This particular subclause helps to address design and development issues. Then 8.4 talks about control of externally provided processes, products, and services. And this particular clause covers the requirement for organizations to control externally provided product services that are necessary to improve their quality management system. Then clause 8.5, production and service provision. In this particular clause, it focuses on the requirement for the control of production and service provision processes, including the control of the equipment, the processes, and even the personnel to ensure that there's continuous conformity of the product and services. This is a very crucial part. Another important part of this particular subclause is the requirement for product identification and traceability for organizations, because this covers the requirement for organizations to actually identify products and services through suitable means and maintain traceability when required. And that is also a crucial part because product needs to be traced in order to have an idea of what batch did they come with. Were there issues, were there not conformity issues? By the time a product is being traced, even you as an auditor, for example, during your auditing, I want to take sampling method, and during your sampling you can take a particular product and you should be able to trace it through their processes, which particular batch did it come up with, what particular materials at the particular point in time. We know, okay, they use the same chemical, the same material, but sometimes there's need for quality analysis and quality checks during audit. Exactly when you're auditing monitoring, measurement, and analysis, that is 9.1 as the case may be. When you're auditing that, you will need to ensure that a particular product as my sample, I'm able to trace it and be sure that every product that comes with the particular batch which this particular product came up with actually will have met up with the requirement of the end user or the established requirement of the organization for their product. We also have post-delivery activities which can be under the issue of warranty provisions, contractual obligations such as maintenance of equipment, follow-up operation of equipment. This is also a requirement that this particular subclause helps us to address. The 8.6 talks about release of products and services. This subclause specifies the requirement for organizations to ensure that products and services meet the organization's requirement before the release of this product. Before this product gets to the public or gets to the end user, we've done all necessary checks before releasing it, before it gets to the end user. This particular subclause helps them to address the processes involved before they release any product or service to the end user or for public consumption or public use. Then if at the end of the day they are non-conforming output, that is where clause 8.7 comes into play, that talks about control of non-conforming output. This particular subclause outlines the requirement for organizations to identify, to control, and take action on non-conforming products and services to prevent their unintended use or delivery. If they are not conforming product, how do they retrieve this non-conforming product? So how do they track it as possible for it not to get into public use? This particular requirement is very key to addressing non-conformity issues, and even your evidences of addressing non-conformity can actually help you under clause 10.2 when you talk about corrective actions, non-conformity, as the case may be. This particular clause is very, very important to be implemented for every organization. Finally, these subclauses within the clause 8 of ISO 9001 provide a structured framework for organizations to operate their quality management system effectively, ensuring that product and service meet customers' requirements and that processes are continuously monitored, measured, analyzed, and improved upon. Because when you're talking about operational planning and control, what have you planned to put in place? What processes have you planned to put in place? How do you want to go about it? And how do you ensure that what you have planned to do, what you have planned to achieve based on what you have identified in your process, you consistently provide those services? And when there are changes, how do you address those changes? You need to plan for your changes. And that's why we also have clause 6.3 that talks about planning of changes. So there is a process for planning of changes. And when it comes to implementing those changes, especially when it comes to customers' requirement, there must be continuous flow of communication between both parties. If they are used at the end of the day, there must be continuous communication to ensure that non-conforming product not get into the end users. And this is what we have for you on today's episode of Enlightenment Sections with Waliola. We hope you really enjoyed this. See you in the next video.